Sorry, today is the 10th. My last video I said it was the 10th. It was the 7th. Today is the 10th. And today is the newest episode of my Robert Zemeckis series. He's got a new film with Denzel Washington called Flight, coming out in early November. I'll be seeing it a week early at the Chicago International Film Festival, so I'll have sort of an advanced review. But before then, I'm going through all of his films that he's directed. And this one, we now come to Death Becomes Her, which came out in 1992. Now, at this point, a lot of the films Zemeckis had made were very heavily on visual effects, especially Back to the Future Part 2. But it was mostly a lot of in-camera effects, models, blue screen, optical compositing. With Death Becomes Her, really got into sort of digital compositing and CG and what have you. The story involves some very horrible people. A couple of women who live in Hollywood, in California, in Beverly Hills. And they're just obsessed with status and with their appearance, and also with the men that they have in their life. Goldie Hawn plays Helen, and she's kind of has this long-standing grudge against Meryl Streep's character, who's Madeline. Because Meryl Streep keeps stealing her men away from her. At the beginning of the movie, Helen is engaged to a plastic surgeon who's played by Bruce Willis, and Meryl Streep just grabs him and marries him herself, and Goldie Hawn goes through a long period of just like a big funk, and she gets, you know, really sort of like at a low point in her life. But then she returns many years later, and she's newly remade herself. She's gotten one heck of a makeover. And of course, once Bruce Willis sees her, immediately starts to want her back, and of course Madeline immediately wants her dead again, or something like that. So since Madeline is so obsessed with her appearance, she keeps going to the plastic surgeons in order to get her face, you know, adjusted and refreshed, as it were. But they keep telling her, look, you can't keep coming back this frequently, you know, it's not good for you. You know, your face needs time to heal from the last procedure, which was only a few weeks ago, huh? But I tell you what, I know someone who might be able to help you. Here's her card. So Madeline, Meryl Streep's character, Madeline, goes to see this woman who lives in this big castle right out of a Tim Burton movie, and she's played by Isabella Rossellini, who offers her the chance to, for a very large fee, drink a potion which will keep her young and beautiful forever. I gotta say, this is a PG-13 movie, and Isabella Rossellini wears some extremely provocative outfits for a PG-13 movie. At one point, she's wearing a bathing suit that basically just hangs from her neck down her front. She doesn't even bother covering the back. This is 1992. Isabella Rossellini is super gorgeous. So Meryl Streep, you know, forks over the cash and drinks the potion, and it immediately makes her young. It's this magic stuff that takes away all her liver spots and tones her body right up, and her face becomes smooth and young, and she just feels great. Then she goes home and picks a fight with Bruce Willis, who then pushes her down a big flight of stairs, and she breaks her neck. But the problem is the potion still works, even though she technically is dead. She still thinks, she still speaks, she still walks around, but her body is now starting to deteriorate. The potion is keeping her mind active and in control of her body, despite the fact that it's deteriorating. So she twists her neck, she breaks bones, she has all kinds of little problems, but she's still walking around. And he is a former plastic, at this point, it's many years later, he's a former plastic surgeon, he's an undertaker now. So now he uses his skills at making over dead bodies to make her look presentable. Well, Goldie Hawn, at the point in the movie in which Meryl Streep dies the first time, you know, when she breaks her neck, Bruce Willis immediately calls up Goldie Hawn and says, you know, she's dead and everything like that. So naturally, when Goldie Hawn sees Meryl Streep walking around again after that, she's very confused. She doesn't understand what happened. And things only get crazier from there. If you have a chance to see the trailer, don't, because it gives away a key twist. But this is, you know, pretty rambunctious comedy, more in the vein of Used Cars than anything since that time. It's a movie without a lot of redeeming social value or a positive message or anything like that. You're just watching a whole bunch of, you know, horrible people screw each other over and screw themselves over in the pursuit of their own vanity. So it's a fun movie. Good, you know, good comedy performances. Bruce Willis, this is like the first time we really saw him playing against type. for his, you know, his whole lady killer role or his action hero role. He's kind of a schlub in this movie, you know. He's not very stylish. You know, he plays up his receding hairline, and, you know, he just is not the charismatic guy he normally is in his films. And of course, Meryl Streep's just vicious. You know, she's a great actress, so she's really good at playing comically vicious. Now, in this movie, they really, this is actually the first of 2 movies that Zemeckis won an Oscar for visual effects. As I said, he was sort of getting into CGI at this point. The effect in which they have Meryl Streep's head on backwards, basically, they had her basically shoot her head against a blue screen in a studio. And then on the set, she would go through the motions of like walking backwards. And then they would attach the 2 images to each other with a CGI neck that was twisted like a corkscrew. So this is like, you know, one of the few times that they did this initially, is just sort of manipulate just a part of a person's body rather than the whole thing. If you look at the T-1000, Robert Patrick basically had his movements modeled after, you know, the character's movements were modeled on his own, but they would apply them to the CGI character, which is a lot like, you know, what Zemeckis would go on to do with the performance capture. With this one, he's just sort of manipulating individual body parts, and the technology was pretty new at the time. The DVD has some behind-the-scenes footage of them shooting some of these scenes. They used the motion control camera they used, called the Vistaglide, which they used on Back to the Future 2 and 3. And it's a big honking thing. It's got this big track, and the head of it looks like some, you know, like a Martian or something like that. This big, huge black thing. It's not just the camera, it's all the servo mechanisms inside. So that was kind of interesting. Not one of the most significant films of his career, Zemeckis's. But gave him the opportunity to try out some new technology and work with some really great people. And it seems like they had a ball with it. It was probably a lot of hard work as well. There was probably a lot of very, very intensive detail-oriented. One thing about Zemeckis is he choreographs a lot of really long, extended takes. And so these have to be pulled off very, very precisely. The timing has to be just so. And it works great. It works great. So definitely one that I'd recommend. If you have the chance to see it, you feel like a good, nasty, dark comedy, it's a good one. Not excessively bloody or anything like that, just more in terms of tone, the attitudes of the characters. However, one film that is a complete turnaround from that sort of attitude is, of course, the next movie he made, which is Forrest Gump, which is the movie I'll be talking about in a few more days' time. The 13th, I think, is when I'll be putting that video up, the 13th. So I hope you tune in for that. If you want to do your own video on any of the movies that I'm talking about and attach it as a video response to one of mine, I'll add you into the Robert Zemeckis playlist, which is linked below, so you can check them out. They're all there for you as we go along, and we're working our way towards Flight. And of course, Forrest Gump is next. So thank you very much for watching. See you again soon. Bye.